There's a kind of winter hunger that isn't just in your stomach. It gets in your head, it whispers, take more. It tells you the cold will never end, the food will never come back, and the only way to survive is to become something that shouldn't exist. And up in the northern forest around the Great Lakes and into parts of Canada, there's an old warning story about exactly that. It is called The Wendigo. And welcome back to the channel. This week, me and Steven are talking about the Wendigo. Steven, you talk to them while I plug in the headset.
So the Wendigo is pretty interesting, but the original the original idea behind the Wendigo is it's based out of Navajo folklore. So with that being said, the Navajos believe that there was a specter type of person or a like how do I put like a witch as well. It was like there were different ways that you could become a Wendigo, but a lot of it had to do with a person that was had some sort of magic abilities, and they would channel that magical ability to become a Wendigo. Now, to become a Wendigo, you'd end up having to eat human flesh, which is where we kind of bring our story into the whole idea of, are they still here? Do they exist? Wendigos can be, there's a lot of stories, a lot of eyewitness accounts that are, alleged from people allegedly seeing them all over the world, from here in Florida to the Smoky Mountains to out west. And a lot of correlation with that is caves, cave systems, and natural forests around the area too. So, but
Exactly. When were you first introduced to a Wendigo? Also, sorry
dude,
for all that. My dog ripped my headset out.
you're
Someone
good.
started pissing on a carpet.
Oh God, dude! So craziest thing, the how I found out about the Wendigo
Mm-hmm.
is actually Ben 10, the
What?
cartoon.
Oh my
Bro,
gosh!
no lie.
I forgot that was in there.
Yes, and that's how I found out about the original name that the Native American, the Navajos, actually called what the Wendigo is,
Did they say it in the
because
show?
of that. They did. They 100% did, which is why I was like, I was first introduced to it, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. But of course, they kind of speculate. In the show, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's actually an alien. It's not
Yeah.
something from around here.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
according to the Native American lore, once again, it's someone from that native tribe that had like witch power, or like the ability to cast magic and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and to
Well.
become immortal.
Well, I guess that's where I first got it. I forgot all about that. Because didn't he become, like, the
Yes.
alien became, bro, that used to
Yes.
be, like, one of my top favorites. Oh, my gosh, bro. That just hit,
Good
you hit a
show.
memory core, honestly. I was going to
Dude,
say,
I know.
Until Dawn, the video game,
Okay, yeah.
where I feel like takes more of the, what we're going to get into, because it dealt with some cave systems and all that.
Yes.
Did you ever play
Absolutely.
Until Dawn?
No, I didn't. Is it available?
Games it is still available. Game's a 10 out
Okay.
of 10. It's a choose your own adventure style,
Okay,
to
sweet.
where you start out with like 8 characters, and then if you make a bad decision and your character dies, they die and it's done for them.
So it's like the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, exactly. But with Wendigo.
Very nice. I like it.
But yeah, I honestly, a Wendigo is one of those, I feel like is a Mount Rushmore of folklore and like is this a folklore or cryptid, or is that the same thing?
It's kind of both, because it's based out of folklore, but because of the fact that there's alleged eyewitness accounts and stuff like that,
Mm.
there's it's also considered a cryptid. But a lot of cryptids, so like even Bigfoot is considered a cryptid, right?
Yeah.
So it falls in the same line, same category type thing.
I
So
got you. Yeah, so literally, It was one of those. We're gonna move on to like we got cryptid series, we got the Appalachian Mountain series. So we're just gonna go ahead and start on that to where
Hmm.
we might as well start with like the biggest one we got, which is a Wendigo.
Right. No, absolutely. But yeah, dude, Wendigos is such an interesting thing, but like, the introduction in like as Ben 10, it was more of like a wolf-like creature versus what
Yeah.
they kind of what they display in the folklore is the fact that it's
Wild.
more of a deer. It's more of like
Yes.
a deer.
Yes.
But
And I did get, I forget what store I was at, but they had this awesome book here, The Frightful Folklore of the North America. So where it has like every state, it'll show like what the folklore or cryptid that lives in there. So we got the
mhm.
Wendigo in here. Do I read this now or do we come back to this?
I would go for it now.
I would say this is kind of like it'll explain what it kind of is and all that. The Wendigo is winter's merciless spirit, the very manifestation of the brutality of the unrelenting north winds and the grim strip of the horizon bleakness, leaving behind a trail of desolation and famine, driven by his gluttony and his desire to destroy and consume humans. The Wendigo is always hungry, ever hunting, and is
Insatiable.
insatiable. Gosh, words
Yeah.
are hard for this guy. The spirit of the Wendigo being as a whisper of on the cold winds during the cruelest months of winter scarcity. It speaks to the weakest people, those who feel they have been slighted and overlooked and somehow given less. Those who seek to balance their ledger at the cost of others. So pretty much just like in the game as well, it just if you're like say in the game two people go down into this cave, they fall down, one dies, and the other one's trying to survive. Just like that, they're struggling. Literally, it's whispering in their ears. The only way you can survive, you gotta eat this person. So
Yeah.
isn't
But
it
then
also? Oh, what?
but that's actually one of the ritualistic things to become a Yenal, or sorry, not a Wendigo.
Can't
I almost
say
said
it.
it again. I can't say it, but
Is there like
one,
a you can't say it three times rule?
it's supposed to be like I don't know. It's supposed to do with like saying it out loud is what triggers it to come and visit you. So
Ah,
that's like the whole thing. But you have to say its full name and you have to be out in the open. If you're inside, like you're fine.
oh,
Like
that's
you're
good.
supposed to like. So if you go outside and you start screaming the name, like it might be a different story. But like you're supposed to keep your doors locked. You don't go up to the windows, like stuff like that. But that's like the whole concept of it.
Yes. Okay.
So
What was it? Preying on fear in the feeble mind, the Wendigo feeds on the thoughts that most of us keep hidden. Once he finds a home there, his baneful presence begins to manifest, jumping from one thought to another, one desire to the next, until he finally breaks his victim's will, possessing them completely and taking control of their actions. Once the Wendigo fully takes hold, hunger is ever present, and the temptation of feeding on human flesh is unbreakable. The larger it becomes, never finding a meal capable of fulfilling its hunger. So literally, you turn into a monster, and it's kind of wild.
yeah. Well, and again, it kind of goes into like as the book was kind of stating there is
Yeah,
like part of the whole thing is like once you start becoming a Wendigo, like the whole point is to convert. It's basically like a zombification almost, right?
yeah, in a
Like
way,
with a zombie, there's patient zero. Patient zero goes around like turning other people into more zombies, right? So that's
exactly.
kind of like the concept there, which almost makes me think that that's also part of the game too. Like when you eat a human, that's kind of what starts the cycle of, oh, well, maybe this isn't so bad.
Exactly.
Get a little bit of the kuru on your face and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. The origins and historical mentions of the Wendigo does not have a clear stated date. It is part of a long-standing oral tradition connected to survival, winter, and famine, and moral teachings. The English spelling began appearing in the early 1700s. The spelling Wendigo became widely popular after the Algernon Blackwood's 1910 horror novella title, The Wendigo. So a book, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
The word traces back to Algonquin. What is that?
Algonquin.
Algonquin. Okay, that was close. The language, with forms such as Wendigo. It's in parentheses. I don't want to say it, but it's like algebra. Ojibwe.
It's a Native American tribe
Oh, okay.
that was in the area of like kind of like North Wisconsin and into Canada is like apparently like
Okay.
where the area that they're kind of from.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's pretty sick, honestly.
I would say Aljubi.
Because wasn't there that does sound a lot better? Because wasn't there like obviously we'll eventually get into like the witches and whatnot, but like
Yeah.
wait when natives had the land and all that, there was like a whole thing to where it's like evil spirits were out there and whatnot, and it would be wild to sit down and have a conversation with quite a bit of tribes. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, right.
But just like the evil spirits, it's like you want to talk to them about it, but they're like, we can't talk about it because it's bad juju.
Yeah, right. What you call the bad spirits here,
What
buddy?
is the name that I'm not allowed to say? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, right. Say it explicitly so I can hear you really well. What is the name?
Exactly. Like we said, like the what is a Wendigo? Some traditions, it is an evil spirit that can possess a human being and transforming it. So where it's like, from what I've always started, obviously from the Ben 10, it's a big old wolf. But then you go to the Until Dawn, they make it, it's not even like a deer, it's like a giant, like, I don't even know, like the arms are like, so how long our arms are is where the elbow starts, and then it becomes a huge human. Like it's flesh. But then the most that I've always seen, and I believe you were also the same, is a deer, but it's like a deer skull in a way.
Yes.
With like hooves for feet and like weird claw hands in a way.
Yep.
So quite literally like a nightmare, if I'm not gonna lie. And there is quite a bit on like Reddit, and there's this one I forget, there's a Spotify podcast that I listen to. It's like scary stories or whatnot, and he tells like 3 hours of Wendigo like stories, and they're wild.
Yeah,
it was this whole thing that where this guy went camping with, she was a Wendigo. I was like, Wolf, kill her.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
He would be dead. There's no way. If they were like sleeping in the same tent, whatever, he would be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
Exactly. But like there was this whole thing where it's like she would leave to go like transform and then come back like, oh, I didn't want you to fight. It was like some weird Twilight shit.
No, because the thing is, like, Wendigos have like the whole idea is like Wendigos have animalistic, like instincts, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically not even human. They go from being human to be converted into like more of a predatory type of animal that feeds on other humans. So it changes their forms and everything like that. So tell me why that this girl supposedly would leave, change, and come back and be like, "Oh, sorry."
She wasn't that hungry.
Yeah, she just wasn't hungry anymore. She got her appetite fulfilled.
Exactly. I've always seen it as like a skull, and I was gonna get a Wendigo tattoo, which I don't know if that's bad juju or whatnot. I don't know. It was gonna be
I
cool.
couldn't tell
It
you.
was cool. It was gonna be a Wendigo skull, like with the antlers. It was pretty much gonna be a giant deer skull, but it was gonna be like a Wendigo, in a way. Are you
Very
looking
nice.
up if it's bad juju?
I am seeing if it's bad.
I
Personal
guess if
interpretation of the
it's,
creature.
I mean, as long as I'm not saying it, it's like, oh, it was the Wendigo. Which I guess in a
So
way. Oh, sorry, what?
basically, it's saying that like oh, I don't. No, I don't want that. What was it saying though? Basically saying that it's like open to interpretations
Okay,
and it's
so it's in the
not
clear at that point.
necessarily yeah, it's not necessarily like a bad thing, but let's see. The Wendigo tattoo represents transformation through consumption, hunger through insatiable desire, the profound darkness that can emerge from a human nature. This guide explores Wendigo mythology as it is a place in tattoo culture and how to design a Wendigo tattoo that captures both horror and meaning. So this one is like a specific for Wendigo tattoos, which is kind of cool.
That is actually pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
It's called 46tattoo.com.
Go check them out. I
Go
might.
check them out.
That is actually kind of wild. I guess yeah. I'm getting my tattoo that's coming up in March is going to be a Mothman tattoo. And let me
Oh,
tell you,
nice.
when we talk about Mothman, I'm going to be all over that. I am excited for that one.
It's cool because it's like it happened in Paxton allegedly. So I mean, it's even better.
Exactly. When we do talk about Mothman, because there was a sighting here, there was a sighting in like an hour away. I was gonna go and interview people and be like, "Did you see Mothman?" It's
It would
shit like
be
that.
it would be really cool to like actually find out like who it was because I mean we both know that the person that allegedly saw the Mothman is probably still living in Paxton. I mean, let's be real.
More or less. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll
So it'd be interesting to figure out who it was that supposedly saw it and then just be like, "Yo,
yeah. Let
can
me
you do an
interview.
interview, buddy?"
Yeah, they'll definitely get him for an interview. That'd be fun. But anyway, that's Mothman. We're talking about a Wendigo.
True,
Um,
true.
the culture meaning beyond being a monster story, the Wendigo functions as a moral warning in harsh winters, climates where survival depends on community cooperation. The story warns against greed, selfishness, and
Mm,
consuming more than one's share. Honestly, that's a good enough meaning right there for a Wendigo tattoo. That
right?
a Wendigo, I'm not gonna lie, a Wendigo moral warning is actually like you can use that to people.
Yeah. Like a moral
it,
standpoint. Yeah, yeah,
it and
absolutely.
that alone is enough to make a good human being. Like, hey, don't do all this. You
Mhm.
raise a child. Like, listen, you don't want to turn into a Wendigo, and if you do,
If you do, I'm gonna have to hunt you down.
I'm
Just
gonna have
so
to,
you know.
I'm gonna have to take you out back and shoot you. What?
Right.
The Wendigo represents imbalance when survival turns into destructive selfishness. It is not simply about cannibalism. It is about becoming consumed by insatiable desires. I
Agreed.
fucking put that on a board and put it on my wall. Put that in your
Right.
mom's kitchen. That's good right there. Honestly,
Yeah, instead of live, laugh, love, you have don't become a Wendigo.
don't become a Wendigo. It's like,
That's
what do you
it.
mean by that? It's like, well, don't become insatiable desires. Don't fall for it.
Yep.
That's actually sick. I'm not gonna lie. Little did I know I'd be inspired.
Right. Just a little inspiration today.
So, where did it say? Where was the Wendigo mainly located now? Exactly, because I know it
Um,
wasn't Appalachian Mountains necessarily.
no, I think a lot of it is over here on the East Coast, within the Smoky Mountains, but I do think that there's a lot of alleged sightings like over in like the West Coast like area, but
Yeah.
I honestly think it's mostly over here on the East Coast.
Okay. Because I didn't know. Because like you said with the cave system and whatnot, is it just mainly East Coast cave-ish? This says Great Lake regions of Canada and the United States. That's what this book says.
Yeah,
Like a
I'm
good old
trying to
Monster Hunter book.
find.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Hi hat.
find. The Wendigo legend is mostly prevalent in the northern regions of the United States, particularly states that border the Great Lakes.
Mm. I wonder why just around there.
Well, I would guess that because of like the whole thing with again, overconsumption and stuff like that
Yeah,
during the
fair.
winter time, because a lot of the times, like obviously winter time, people back in those days would have to portion out their food versus like us where we have access to AC,
I got a
access to
refrigerator.
fridges. Yeah, I got a fridge. I can keep meat all winter long just fine.
That
But
cow that you have to finish within 2 days, I can keep for a whole year.
absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. Like during that time period, they didn't have that, so it was probably more prevalent in the northern states because of that sort of scenario. So that would be my guess. But and a lot of the times, like up north, especially like Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, those states had a lot of dense population of Native Americans,
Yeah,
which was kind of where the original like source was.
exactly.
It was somebody that was a Native American witch that was you know changed into the Wendigo.
I mean, hey, witches be witches.
Witches be witches. Yeah, it's like so this one it says in Navajo mythology, the skinwalker, also known as a Wendigo. Not going to say the actual name.
I forgot they also call him a skinwalker.
Skinwalkers, yep,
Okay.
are witches who wear coyote skins and travel at night. They appear naked, wearing only masks and jewelry, and tend to live in caves, storing recognizable human heads on shelves.
Hmm.
It gains power by killing a close relative, sometimes even a sibling. They
Huh.
are known to desecrate, desecrate sand paintings by urinating, spitting, and defecating on them. They also practice cannibalism and something I'm not going to say on here because it is, you know what? It's necrophilia.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
everyone everyone has a little taste for that.
yeah, cracking open a cold one with the boys. You know what I mean?
Crack open a
Um,
cold one and crack open a good old coffin.
yeah, right. Wendigos are also said to be able to create pollen from ground human infant bones when they are sprinkled on sleeping Navajo families, causing sickness, social problems, and death. So let's see. The Wendigos are often detected by the presence of strange noises, barking dogs, or dirt falling from Hogan ceilings. As they sprinkle their pollen on the unsuspecting families, they can be shot or caught. If they are not caught, a singer or hatali, ha- hatali, haitali, or a
Hot
medicine person
tamale.
can, yeah, right, or a medicine person can protect the family.
Oh.
Uh, Coyotes are known to be a weaker hunter by throwing their. Hang on. Coyotes are known to weaken a hunter by throwing their skin on him. By doing so, the coyote takes on the appearance of the hunter. Coyotes do this out of the desire to sleep with the hunter's wife. During the time while the while the coyote lives with the hunter's wife, the hunter is immobilized in the position of a sleeping coyote. The wife will eventually realize the coyote is not her husband because the coyote is lazy and overtime overtime. The house comes to smell of coyote urine.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. That's wild, right
Yeah,
there.
that's from a website called deliriumsrealm.com. But basically, it does have the legit name of what the Native Americans called them.
Oh yeah,
But
that felt like an actual like this is how it's all gonna go down when you mess
yeah,
with the Wendigo or how they were
well,
rolling back then.
yeah, and a lot of the times too, like supposedly like skinwalkers, wendigos, what their whole like ability is to shapeshift
Yeah.
into something that you are supposed to be familiar with. So a significant
Yeah.
other, a pet, um, or like something that you would recognize. So like a normal deer. But the thing about them is there's always something slightly off about them.
Yep.
That's like the whole telltale.
There's I don't know if it was so analog horror. There was an analog horror series. I think it was called Local 58. It
Mm.
was some story where there was a man in a field yelling like help, and like somebody had a camera and they found him, and you just
Yep.
see the shadow outline, and it was just help, help, and I'm not that haunted me for like
Yeah.
days, and I could only imagine that's what either a skinwalker or a Wendigo would do, which I don't know what a Wendigo would actually do. Besides, I mean, obviously what we've said so far is that it slowly eats at you and makes you like give in more or
Yes.
less.
Well, and some of them too, it's like I know that one of the things that they do is like if you whistle, apparently that draws them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the big things.
It was like a big old rule: you're not allowed to whistle out
Yeah,
at night.
don't whistle in the woods. Yeah, don't whistle in the woods at night. That's like the whole thing.
Is there a
But
song?
another, I don't know.
That
It
would be a
might
good
be.
song. That'd be a good song.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
sorry.
I actually watched this video like a couple days ago, in fact, but it was basically this guy who he was like out on a trail and he was like looking for, I guess, a part of his bike or something like that, and found like a random trail.
Oh,
And
I
so
think I
he
know
was
what you're
like
talking
going
about.
up. Yeah, he was like going up and he walked up to this like cave and he's like, "Huh, I didn't know this was here." And it was like he found the part of his bike like sitting there at the mouth of the cave, but you can see there's like
Mm.
bones of animals just chilling there. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, cool, I found my part of my bike." And he goes to pick it up and something goes, "Help, help."
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And he's like, "Hello?" He's like trying to talk to it, like trying to see if someone's in there. And this dude is like sitting there and he's like trying to, he's like, "Hello, is anyone there? Hello, hello." And he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a bad feeling about this." So he backs up and he goes, "Hang on a second." So he like picks up a stick and he goes, "I'm going to go play fetch." So he throws the stick in there and then
Bruh.
something throws it back.
Nah.
And
Nah.
he goes back up and he's like, "Hello?" And then they go, "Hello?" Like the same like tone back. And they say, and then it goes, "Help me." And then that's when he's like, "Oh, nope, nope, nope." And he turns around and he's like taking off and he's like, "Parkour, parkour." In his videos, he's like yelling parkour because he's like jumping over stuff to like
Bro.
get out of there. Funny
Survival
as hell.
instincts of a fart. Like
Yeah, bro.
what?
Like if I the first thing I would do if I heard something like that, I was all like, "I'm calling the
Gone.
police. I'm calling the police. I'm gonna run and then I'm gonna call the police." Like
Exactly.
not doing it.
If I lost my bike in some woods, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go buy a new bike.
Right. Right.
I'm not
Right.
dealing with that.
Yeah. No. No shot. No
First
shot,
off,
dude.
how do you lose a part of your bike? Like what?
Right.
That's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. It's just
Yeah.
Wendigo stories are fun for situations like that, but they're also kind of wild because I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of stories and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if half of them are real because situations like even with the water, we know more about the space than
Space.
we do.
And we do in our oceans.
So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised with the amount of even Appalachian Mountains is a huge thing. But like
Yes.
any mountain or any forest,
Yep.
wouldn't be surprised if we don't know what's in there, you know?
Yeah.
Which,
Well, and so like let's go one step further, right? So so do you know what the original purpose of NASA was?
wasn't it? Oh, you're gonna have to just tell me because I'm not gonna lie. You are the second person to ask me this in 2 weeks.
So the original purpose of NASA was to explore the ocean.
Yes, that's what it was.
Why did they stop exploring the ocean and go whoop instead?
We gotta
It makes
find a
me
new
think
home.
we gotta find a new home. There's a kaiju living in our waters, bro.
Because what is it? Only like one? No, what? How many percentage
I think
did
it's like
we?
I think it's like 15%. It's something stupid low of the
Why?
water.
Why is it
Like,
so low? There's gotta be. I know there's a megalodon. There definitely
there's got to be a megalodon, dude.
megalodons are still here
100%.
because alligators are still here. Megalodons, Cthulhu maybe. I don't know.
Cthulhu.
They're out there.
That's an HP Lovecraft thing. I would say that we probably still have like giant octopus still living in there. I'd still say that we probably like, I don't know if you saw, but there's actually a prehistoric whale that was bigger than the megalodon, but it used to eat the megalodons as their meal.
That's
So
kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if those are out there for sure. But it's literally like there's enough out here to where we could talk about it, to where it's like there's a reason it's the big 2026 and we're still talking about Wendigos and all that, you know.
yeah, right.
One, they are fun to talk about around a campfire, more or less. Two,
Oh yeah,
there's always that chance that these
yeah.
things are actually real. Because
Yeah, dude. It's the thing is like a lot of things that people don't like think about is a lot of folklore is based on like true events. You know, there maybe there was like some sort of person of like native descent, whatever. They were a Native American and they were what was considered a witch back then, right?
Yep.
And maybe they did convert to cannibalism and they just they shunned that person and they went around and started killing people and like incited like all this like or brought in basically all this stuff that was like, oh yeah, to call them you have to whistle, or to say their real name, like
Mm-hmm.
to know their real name and to say their real name will cause them to come to you and stuff like that. Maybe that was real back then.
Yeah. Well, the
But
where I'm at with it is so we pretty much, because what do you think? We learned all this mainly from the Native Americans, more or
oh yeah,
less.
100%.
So they were here before us, obviously, right?
Yeah, right.
What would they gain from lying compared to how we saw how their lifestyle was?
Right.
Why would they lie?
Yep. What reason would they have to like lie and just be like, yeah, there's actually a man-eating monster out there that's
It's
but
out there.
but at the same time, was it kind of like hey, by the way, like let's say it was like in passing, so all these like people that came over here from
Hmm.
like Europe and stuff like that were just like, oh, whatever. Like, this is just a passing conversation. This is just folk tale.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Didn't think anything
Exactly.
of it.
Like, oh, I'm gonna tell this to my child tonight in
Right.
front of the fire.
Right. Guys, guess what?
Historical cases, pretty much like I guess the biggest one, the Swift Runner of 1879. One of the most frequent cited historical cases is Swift Runner, a Cree man in Alberta in 1879 who murdered and consumed members of his family and claimed influenced by a Wendigo spirit. Now, we could pause here for a second and say, was he insane or was this real? Because that's wild. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry. What we?
No, that's kind of where I was gonna go. One of the things is like the Wendigo psychosis. That was one of
Yeah.
the things that we talked about already is the Wendigo psychosis. So what if he saw something and was like, "Oh man," unlike Wendigos, and was like, "Oh man, like that's my thing. That's what I am," and just because there's people like that, man. I mean,
there definitely are some wild. There's some strangers out there. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah,
He was tried and he was tried and executed. The case illustrates how powerful the belief in the Wendigo was as a framework for explaining extremes act during periods of hardship. So we could look at this as he just used like, oh, I can blame this on the Wendigo, or he found it out like, I can eat my family. It just blamed the wind. Ah! So, I mean, he could have went mental. Honestly, mental health is
Yeah,
back then there was really no help
was not
for it, and
recognized. Yeah,
yeah. So it's very possible. We're not going to shine out that it wasn't possible that he very well could have been insane,
and
but
needed help.
yeah, but it's like because it sounded like it was in Canada, 1879, and he knew about the Wendigo to go for it. So it just falls back to it's possible that the Wendigo spirit, from what we've got off of how it kind of affects the brain, he could have been persuaded.
Yeah, and that spirit was laughing the minute he got shot. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get another one."
Got him. So then we got modern horror often portrays the Wendigo as a towering deer-like creature with antlers and a skull face.
Yep.
This imagery is largely a modern development shaped by the early 20th century horror fiction and later films, games, media. Traditional descriptions do not universally include the antlers, which honestly I feel like is a big fu to the cryptid zoologist fans out there, or like any fans of the Wendigo. It's like, why are you not going to include the antlers, the cool part about the Wendigo?
Right, right. No, dude, like you gotta include the antlers. That's part of it.
Exactly.
That's part of the shtick, bro.
Yeah, and all we got until dawn was just giant naked people.
Yeah.
Understanding the difference between culture traditions and modern horror reinterpretation is important. Exactly, like what we just said. Starting off, Ben 10, a wolf, until dawn, giant arms and legs, naked cannibal people, and then a deer skull. So, and skinwalkers. So it is very important, whereas like if this stuff is like actual, which I'm a firm believer on, until you prove me absolutely wrong. Unlike Nessie, did you see that shit?
No.
The guy, I think the guy who originally like was the biggest Loch Ness monster hunter came out and said, "Yeah, it's fake."
What?
Yeah, he was like, "Ah, it's all fake."
I don't know about it.
He could have found it, and then he could have been told, "You say it's fake or you die."
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But like even because dude, like Lake Loch Ness is like one of the deepest lakes on the planet.
Yo, remember that movie that came out? There was we were so young.
Oh yeah, the one where the kid found it.
The kid found it, and it was like that movie was my Free Willy.
Oh my god, what was that even called? God,
fuck, it's so hard. But you were saying, oh, you're looking it up.
Yeah.
No, it like you said, like it was the deepest lake, and I mean it was in Ireland, wasn't it? It was on Ireland.
The water horse.
The water horse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So no, so like Lake Loch Ness is like one of the deepest lakes in the world.
Dang.
Obviously. Yeah. Let me verify that.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a giant dragon style water monster in there. I believe it's just a dinosaur that didn't get taken out by the asteroid, more or less. About like alligators. Honestly, it didn't kill everything.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, I know. There's freaking gators all over down here, so I understand that. But dude, so the max depth of the Loch Ness is 272 feet. So that's pretty deep.
I was gonna say that's pretty bad. I mean that's not bad, but that's pretty deep. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't want to go swimming in something 272 feet deep. I'm not gonna lie.
Not if I know what's under there.
Yeah, right.
I don't even like going in water,
dude. I don't even like. I like when I go to the beach here. I only go like chest deep. That's it. Just
I
eat.
I
Nothing more.
I went once and I was like, I don't like this feeling. I went swimming because when I went to Florida once, we were swimming and a dolphin kind of like did its thing over it. I saw its fins and all that. I was like, get me out of here. That was too close. If it's comfortable next to me, what's also comfortable next to me?
Dude, what's really crazy is manatees. Manatees are
Yeah.
crazy, bro. So you can't so legally you can't touch them, but they can come up and they can touch you all day.
I feel
So if
like
you're
it's
like in the
fair game
water,
to fight them.
if you're in the water and they come up to you and they start bumping up to you, you can't like push them away, you can't touch them. If you touch them, you get arrested.
I feel like that's the biggest load of bullshit.
Right.
I'm gonna sucker punch one if it touches me.
So manatees are also like really not aggressive in any way, shape,
Yeah,
or form.
they're plant
But
eaters more or less. They're
yeah, yeah,
just chilling.
they eat a lot of the mangroves. So
Yeah,
like anywhere where there's mangroves, they're generally like in that area, brackish water, springs. There's
they're
actually
just
a
chilling.
viewing. Yeah, they're mostly just like chill. I mean, they're literally called sea cows for a reason, you know.
They
But
are.
that's also probably what I think. I can't remember where I saw it, but there was something about like how pirates got the idea of mermaids from
Ooh,
manatees,
gosh, Nick, that's a fat mermaid.
right?
And for
Dude,
pirates, doable.
I mean, you're suffering from scurvy, and you've been drinking the entire time that you're on the boat. So I mean, like,
You
you see
know,
something, you're probably thinking, "Oh, that's a lady right there."
one of them tried to swim and fuck a manatee. Oh, that's
Right.
good. That's good. Um, closing reflection on the whole Wendigo. It pretty much it's terrifying. Not because it's the biggest monster, because it represents something human. It's a hunger turning into greed, survival turning into selfishness, and winter convincing you there will be never be spring. So pretty much, just based off that, obviously, I don't feel like we're having that much of an ordeal with the Wendigo because nobody's really suffering in the winter anymore.
No.
Maybe in Alaska, you got the Alaska people, more or less.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, there is Skinwalker Ranch too.
that is
I
honestly,
did always forget
I
about that.
I don't understand how they made it so many seasons,
I don't know, man. They never found a Skinwalker at all, and
bro.
it's whatever.
It's wild, but like yeah, the greed and selflessness are for those like it would mainly be for anyone who lives literally like Kentucky, more or less. They're out in the middle.
Yep.
Whoever gets hit with the winter the hardest would be like those small towns. But I
Right.
truly don't feel like we have to worry about a Wendigo much
No, not
anymore.
anymore.
We're growing out of it. They're going away. It's one of those.
Mm.
It's gonna be an old wise tale. We tell our kids, and they tell their kids. So
Maybe the
I'm.
spirit is just dying out.
It could be, and honestly, for how it seems, good.
Yeah, right. That'd be kind of discerning to see a giant deer skull just like peering at you through a
That
window
would
or
be
something.
wild. If I would you at that point, it's got you. Do you just say F it, I'm gonna fight you now, or do you try to run and get away?
I'm grabbing the closest gun. That's it.
Close
How are you gonna run? How are you gonna run? It's taller.
closest thing next to you, just fight. I at this point, I don't know if I could hit it with my fist because it's a skull. Is
Hmm.
just take your shoe off and start beating it with your shoe or something. I don't know.
I got enough
It's
stuff around the house. You know what? I got a lightsaber that I'll just cut it in half with.
right now. I got just this cup.
Ah, there you go. Hey, you know what? And I got a Captain America shield here to protect me
You're
from its
set.
claws.
You're
I'm
set.
set, bro. I'm set.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we covered mainly what the whole Wendigo and whatnot. This was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun talking about them.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think there's a lot of bright stuff coming up though.
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm very excited into deep diving into our whole folklore series, and then maybe next week we'll start on the Appalachia series or whatnot, or like you
Definitely.
mentioned this week, the whole doppelganger uh,
Yeah, the
whole thing.
doppelgangers.
I'm down to do I did because like whenever you first brought it up, I was like I have to do some more research on it, and
Mm.
during the whole research, there's a whole thing something with Hillary Clinton and Sabrina
I was
Carpenter.
just about to say that, dude. I was about to be like, dude, look at the young pictures of Hillary Clinton and the today's version of like today's Sabrina Carpenter.
It
It is
is wild.
crazy,
Just,
crazy,
and then this also makes you look at Sabrina Carpenter and go like, that's what you're gonna look like when you're older.
dude. There's a really good movie that Brittany and I just watched not that long ago. It's called Substance. Have you seen it?
I have not, but I want to.
It's dude, it's wild, but it's like the concept is like you get this drug
Mm-hmm.
and you inject yourself with this drug and basically like you molt. So there's
It's
like a younger version of yourself that like appears and you have to like get spinal fluid like the younger version you only can do it for like 7 days. If you do it for
yeah,
more than 7 days like there's a bunch of consequences which you learn in the
yeah.
show. But basically you have to do a spinal tap on yourself like your other body during those 7 days to like sustain the other body. And so basically, dude, it gets
I
crazy,
was gonna
dude.
say it looks kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It's wild. But dude, highly recommend it, especially with that. Yeah, the
I
ending
might
does
watch
suck.
it. Oh, does it? Dang, I might
Yeah, it
watch
does
it
suck.
this weekend because the wife is gone for Valentine's Day, and that'll be my Valentine's Day movie.
Oh, is she doing like Valentine's Day or something?
No, she's with her other side job that she does. She travels
Okay.
for testing and
Okay.
whatnot, or not
Okay.
testing, judging. But
Very
other than
nice.
that, there was the Wendigo. I hope
There
you
we
guys
go.
enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with it. Let us know if you want us to cover any other cryptids or folklore, because we will cover it regardless. If even when you comment it, I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. Um,
And for those of you that don't know, it's called a Yanel douchey.
we're gonna die.
We're gonna die.